I'm actually very excited about today's video because it's going to be a plant haul, a pretty large one in fact, of a bunch of different plants that I got recently from Ugaoo. Hi guys, it's Magali and welcome back to my channel. One thing that the pandemic and lockdowns changed in my life last year was that I went from having no plans to having many plans. I mean, it doesn't just happen overnight. It's usually a gradual process, you know. You think about getting plants, you do a little bit of research, you buy your first plant, it starts growing well, it makes you really happy, and then you start thinking about which plant you can get after that, and it's like a never-ending cycle, and my plant collection has grown. Today I'm going to be showing you 7 plants that I got recently from Ugaoo. I got them almost exactly a month ago. They actually came on my birthday. That was not properly planned, but it felt like, you know, a nice birthday gift to myself. And these are all tropical plants and plants that will do well indoors in our kind of climate with filtered light. So even if you don't get too much of direct sunlight, all of these plants should grow really well. I'm doing this after a month mainly so I can tell you what my progress with the plants has been, because some of them have been doing wonderfully and some honestly not as much. When you just get a plant, you're not sure how it's going to go, so I feel like I'm better equipped to talk to you guys after a month. If you guys have never heard of Ugaoo, they are a website that sells plants. I believe they ship all over India. And since I started buying plants during the pandemic, each and every plant that I own has been bought online. I've never gone to a nursery. I've actually tried buying from many different places, from Amazon, etc. Some of them were good experiences, some were not so good. And then when I bought my first Ugaoo plant, it was actually like a really exciting moment because I wondered why I hadn't purchased any plant from them before. And Ugaoo's website is also really fantastic because it's really easy to navigate. If you are like a beginner, you can find low maintenance plants. It's just quite well organized. They really understand how to ship your plants safely to you. They come really nicely in like these tube thingies, and the plants are very well secured. Generally, when you purchase plants, they come in these nursery pots that look really ugly, but Ugaoo's planters actually look nice, and they have a built-in tray in all of them. This is a large size planter, this is a medium size one, but you guys can see that there's a tray at the bottom. I even have one small size plant over here. So the planters are both pretty and functional, and that is a huge plus point. Also, the soil mixes that the plants come in are just really high quality, because I have seen what crappy soil mixes can look like and I can tell the difference. So these are a few reasons why I personally love Ugaoo. And this is not a sponsored video, you guys, but they did let me pick out all the plants that I'm gonna show you guys today. But I have bought from them many times in the past, and I will continue to buy from them in the future as well. So now I feel like I should start talking about the actual plants. There are many different sized plants, right from small, medium, large. I'm going to show them to you in ascending order of skill level. So I'm going to start with the plants that are easiest to care for and that are hardest to kill, and then I'm going to go towards some of the more tricky plants that I have that require a little bit more knowledge and a little bit more maintenance. So the first plant I'm going to talk about is this one, which a lot of you guys will already recognize because I talk about this plant a lot. This is the ZZ plant, or Zamioculus zamifolia. This plant actually comes from East Africa. The ZZ will always be extremely special to me. This was actually the first plant that I bought last year. The plant that I had purchased last year was really small. In half a year of growth, it grew to a solid medium. But this plant from Ugaoo, this is very much a large ZZ plant. I was actually very surprised when I got it because I've never seen a ZZ this big and this lush. You can see that a few of the stems and the leaves are much lighter green than the others, and that's because the light green ones are brand new growth. In fact, this pot was actually fuller when I got this. There were more plants in here, but I took them out because I felt like there was just so many plants in one pot and they require a little bit of room to grow, and I feel like I could take out a few more stems as well. Like, you don't have to take them out, they would have grown fine inside. But if I make a little bit room here, I think that the plants will grow a little better. This is basically the first plant that I recommend to anybody just starting out. You need to water it very, very less frequent, about once every 2 or 3 weeks in summer, and in winter once every month or 1.5 months, because it's like a drought resistant plant that holds water in the rhizomes under the soil. Overwatering is pretty much the only way you can kill it. So if you try watering it weekly or something, there's a chance you might kill it. So, you know, don't do that. It's just a beautiful plant that grows very nicely, especially in hot weather. That's its growing season. Just keeps on putting out new growth all of the time. The second plant I got is also kind of a ZZ. So this is Zymochilus zamifolia only, but it's actually a different cultivar and it's called the ZZ Zenzi. Cultivar just means like it's another version of this plant. The care instructions are pretty much the same as the regular ZZ. So the Zenzi is also known as dwarf ZZ, I guess, because it's supposed to be a miniature version of the ZZ. This one can grow rather large, but the dwarf one will never really grow too big. In fact, I was expecting a smaller plant and I was quite surprised to see it this big also. I doubt that, you know, any stems will go any higher than this. This one is a great plant for keeping on your desk as well. The ZZs in general don't require a lot of light. If you give them some light, it's nice, but they're able to survive in like dark corners also. Their growth rate will probably be a bit slower in dark corners. The way that the Zenzi is different is that it's got thicker stems than the regular ZZ, and the leaves are more closely packed together on the stems, and then the stems and the leaves have this natural curl to them that the regular ZZ does not have. Ever since I got my first regular ZZ, I had been wanting to get a Zenzi as well, and now I have it and it's just lovely. Look, there's new growth as well here, this little thing. So the third plant that I have to show you guys, kind of a slightly rarer plant. This is the cobra fern. The scientific name of this fern is Asplenium nidus. I've always kind of wanted a fern. There are like a few popular fern varieties that grow indoors, but ferns are supposed to be a little bit high maintenance, and this is one of the easiest ferns to have. This particular version of the cobra fern also has, you know, really wavy shape that all cobra ferns don't have. So I think that that's really pretty and very interesting. On ferns, these leaves are actually called fronds. That's something I just recently learned. Fronds, I think it's a funny word, but I kind of like saying it. And the fronds on these are actually really very, very tough, which is wonderful. So ever since I got this one last month, it's been putting out some new growth as well. So if you look right at the center of the rosette, then there are some baby fronds coming out. There's one frond that's maybe like an inch high, and then there are two more that are coming out. So I'm really looking forward to meeting the new little fronds. And I like that it's kind of compact as well, because, you know, Mumbai apartments, I don't want the plant to take up too much of space. This is surely like one of the statement plants I own right now. So this plant is actually native to a lot of different tropical countries. I had initially read Philippines, but I also read that it is present in Hawaii as well as India. So that made me really excited. And it is originally an epiphyte, which means that it doesn't really grow in the soil or in the ground in its natural environment. It grows on like the trunks of other trees and stuff, which I find really interesting, you know. So I've read that the soil likes to be moist in this one, so I have been watering it about once a week now in the summer, and the new growth has been chugging along a little bit. It looks to be a little bit of like a slow to medium grower, but otherwise it doesn't require any kind of special care. The next plant that I'm going to talk about is also something many of you guys will be familiar with. It is the snake plant, or Sansevieria trifasciata or Dracena trifasciata. So snake plant, like ZZ, is also a great first plant. It requires very infrequent watering. It doesn't have a requirement for too much of light, and it's just very fuss free. It just grows, and it's extremely hard to kill this one as well. So this is actually my second snake plant. I bought a snake plant last year as well, My first one is this other really common cultivar. This color is called the Laurenti, and this one that I got from Ugaoo is a bit more like of a rare variety, and this one is called Moonshine. The minute I saw the color of these leaves, I fell in love with it because I'd never seen leaves this color. They're just like pastel-y, light gray green, cool toned leaves that almost look a little bit silver, and I think Moonshine is just the perfect name for it. So earlier I used to think snake plants are very slow growing because my first snake plant that I got, it didn't put out any new growth for like 5-6 months. I thought it was dead. It was not dead, but I think it was just dormant. It's moody like that, and now it has randomly started growing for the first time. Since I noticed new growth, it has been growing extremely quickly, so I wouldn't call it a slow grower. I think that it can just be moody with putting out new growth, but the minute you actually see new growth, it grows really fast. Over the course of many years, snake plants can actually grow 6 feet tall. I have seen pictures of them growing that tall. That means it would be taller than me, but that would take a really long time, and it would require like a bigger pot and optimal conditions. But you know, I'm just really hoping that these plants grow very well and that they get bigger and bigger every single year. And now it's time to talk about this gorgeous plant that has been on my wish list for such a long time. This is a philodendron Birkin, and it's just such a pretty plant, you know. I love variegated plants personally, and variegated just means that, you know, there is more than one color on the leaves of the plant. And this has one of the most unique variegations I've ever seen. They call this pinstripe variegation because if you look at the leaves, it actually looks like someone has drawn on each and every leaf and given it white stripes, and on each leaf the intensity of the white is different. So some leaves are way more white, some leaves look greener. I've also heard that sometimes the new leaves have like more of a brighter white and then they settle to a darker green, so I'm not really sure about that. But philodendrons on the whole are usually really easy to take care of, and they like tropical weather. So when you say the name philodendron, there are more than 500 plants under philodendron, and some of them are vining plants. They're creepers, like this mecans that I bought from Ugaoo. This was the first plant I bought from Ugaoo last year. So this one likes to climb, or it likes to trail. The Birkin is an upright philodendron, so it grows straight up like this, and from images I know that it can actually grow much bigger. I guess that will take some time. So it's kind of hard to find information about this plant because the Birkin doesn't come directly from the wild, and like a lot of these other plants, it is a hybrid plant that was grown in a lab from another philodendron to get these kind of stripes on it. And people are not even completely sure which plant it was hybridized from. Incredible information on its origins are a little bit like scant or difficult, I don't know. I've also read that this plant, although it's tropical, it actually kind of likes slightly colder weather. So that would be like our Mumbai winter type of weather. That's what it prefers, when the highest temperatures are around like 25 degrees centigrade. Right now it's a lot hotter here in Mumbai, so the leaves just look a little bit crunchy, they look a little bit dry, and I've been watering it fine, so I know that's not the issue. If I give it too much of water, I will obviously kill it. So you know, I think it's just not adjusting to the summer very well. When it came from Ugaoo, it was packed really well, but when I just started inspecting it a little, I actually broke off 2 or 3 leaves, one from the center, a new leaf, and a couple from the outside. So I've realized that the leaves on this are a little bit fragile, so I'm trying to be extremely careful with this plant, and it seems to be doing rather well in the month that I've had it. I can see a new leaf coming now. I am treating it well. I'm not touching the new leaf. It's this little like stick here, that's a new leaf, and over time it will slowly open, it will slowly unfurl, giving it all the space and time it needs. And I can't wait to see this one grow and flourish. It's going to be very rewarding. And now it's time to talk about the last two plants for today's haul. These two are definitely classified as high maintenance plants, and I knew what I was getting into when I chose them. Both of these plants that I'm going to show you, these are caletheas, and they're native to the rainforests of Brazil, of like the Amazon region. Now these are notorious as really difficult plants. So a lot of people say just don't get caletheas because you might kill them. But I've also seen people like with caletheas that look really, am I pronouncing that right? I think so. They look really happy. So I thought, you know, let me take that chance. And another reason I took the chance is because caletheas are known to like extremely high humidity. So if you live in a place that's not very humid, there are people that actually run humidifiers all day to keep them happy. But I figured that Mumbai is so humid right now, so it might be really good weather for the caletheas. This is the first one that I got. This is the Caletheia rufi-barba or furry feather caletheia. And I wish you guys could see this plant when it just arrived from Ugaoo. It was the most perfect plant I had seen. Now I understand that all plants need not be perfect, you know, they are living beings, and sometimes they'll have spots or blotches or brown tips, and that's natural. But this one was so perfect. Each and every leaf was so long and lush and green, so that made me overconfident that I can definitely take care of this. But I'm sorry to tell you guys, it has kind of been declining in my care in the last month. So I've lost a lot of leaves. They've just kind of withered away. Of the leaves that are remaining also, some of them are perfectly fine and healthy, but a lot of them get these brown or yellow tips at the end, and then they wither away. So this plant is really finicky in that it likes a certain kind of soil, and it likes the soil to always be moist, so you shouldn't let it dry out, but it also doesn't want the soil to be very soggy. So it's extremely hard to find that balance that keeps this plant happy. And it likes to be misted, so I have this spray bottle with me, and I try to mist it at least once or twice a day. You know, that keeps the plant happy. It is such a pretty plant though. They grow in the Amazon rainforest on the bottom of the forest, so they don't like too much direct light because the trees take most of the light. They like soft light. And this one's called furry feather caletheia because it actually has what feels like fur on it. So there's a little bit on the top of the leaf, but the bottom of the leaf, that's what you need to touch. Feels like a stuffed toy. It's ridiculous. I just want to touch it all day, you know. And here's the final plant that I'm going to talk about today. Another caletheia, as I mentioned. This is the Caletheia lancifolia, and it's also known as rattlesnake plant because look at the designs on these leaves. It is just ridiculous how pretty they look. I think they have these like spots and stripes on them to convince predators not to eat them. I don't know, because there are these plants that have all these defense mechanisms in the wild wherein they just try to convince animals not to eat them by scaring the animals. It's also an extremely pretty plant, and it has these really beautiful dark purple undersides. These are also known as prayer plants because the position of the leaves changes throughout the day. So I guess during the daytime the leaves kind of open out more and point downwards. As you guys can see, most of these leaves are pointed downwards, but towards the end of the day the leaves close. They sort of point upwards like this, but I've noticed that that change is more pronounced in the Caletheia lancifolia than in the rufi-barba. And this new leaf actually opened up after I got it, and look at it, it's the biggest leaf of the bunch. Another really cool thing about caletheas is that they're actually pet friendly plants. Now a lot of the other plants I've shown you guys, you can have them if you have pets at home, but some of them are also known to have a certain toxicity to dogs or cats, and that toxicity will only come into play if your dog or cat likes to eat the leaves. So if your pets leave the plants alone, there will be no issues, but if they like to munch on the leaves, that's where you have a little bit of a problem, and you will need to ensure that they don't get access to eat the leaves. Caletheas and pets go together perfectly, so that is so nice. So if you live in India, like anywhere in India, and if you have prayer plants with you and they have been doing well, please give me some suggestions and tell me what I might be doing wrong and why they look so unhappy, why this one is declining. I have been placing them together also, so if you have a lot of prayer plants, it's recommended that you group them together because of like the humidity and all that stuff. I really want to try my best to keep both of the caletheas alive. I know they're sensitive to water also, so I have been making sure to pour the water I'm going to water with them with the previous day. Just keep it out for one day. That is recommended so that the chlorine in the water evaporates, but I'm not even really sure if water in Mumbai in India is chlorinated. I had a whole history of killing plants in the past, and so I had it in my head that I must not kill a single plant, and if I kill a single plant, I am a failure. And then I had got one plant that came to me unhealthily from the nursery I bought it from only. It died. I was really upset about it, but after watching plant YouTubers, including some plant YouTubers who are really proficient, I've realized that every single person loses plants, even plant experts. Plants die with them. It just happens sometimes. We just have to try our best. So I've done so many different haul videos over the years on this channel. I've done fashion hauls, beauty hauls, homeware hauls, tea hauls, and now this was my first ever plant haul video. Ever since I discovered houseplants last year, they have brought me so much of joy and peace. They are a wonderful hobby to have. They enrich your interiors, they give you oxygen, they brighten up the space, they purify your air. They're just a wonderful little distraction to kind of pour some energy into now that all of us in India have been staying at home as well because of the whole second wave situation that's been going on. This is definitely the best time to get into plants if you were ever thinking of it. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Do you guys like plants? Do you have a favorite, or have you got any new ones recently? Leave me a comment and let's chat over there, and I will see you guys next time.